Hey, hey, welcome to Your Best Podcast, your place for conversation, information, and experts that help you to live your best life. Today, we have Tony Jacobsen in the house, and he is not only an author, but he is also the founder of Unbreakable Adaptive Fitness. We're going to be getting into exercise we all can do. And trust me, honey, if you haven't gotten off of the couch, you really want to listen to this full episode. So here we are, Tony. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here right now, right here. You look great. I love the blues. You're giving me life with your lighting.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Second round on Your Best Podcast. I'm excited to be back on the team.
Well, hey, we love you very much. You have been so amazing. Each time you come on, you're just so giving and you're so connected with all the other guests, and you are so awesome at like just sharing the show and sharing the information and the good vibes. So it's always great to have you back, and you always have such good things to talk about. Today, we're going to be getting into exercise, right?
Yes.
And so I thought it would be great to start off with, have you always worked out?
Ooh, starting with the bombshell. I have not always worked out, and that's the kind of the beauty of my story about it, and what I share in my journey and with my community and everything. It's part of the Unbreakable way, because basically I didn't work out until I was in my early 40s. So I'm 53 or 54 now. 54, I think. I just had my birthday a few months back, but I didn't start working out until I was in my early 40s. And I tried a couple times before, but with my disability, it was always tough. You know, it was always a thing. I have osteogenesis imperfecta, that is also known as brittle bones disease. So, you know, I've broken bones like throughout my entire life. And so I always thought that exercise would do more harm than it would do good. I mean, just basically anybody with any sort of bone health condition can relate, where you're like, well, I shouldn't move, right? I shouldn't move because I'm going to make things worse. I'm going to break something. But, you know, once I realized after a major health scare in my 40s, I realized, well, I got to do something because I'm not trying to die early. So I better figure this out. So it was really going through that process during that time to figure out how to exercise for my body, how to do it appropriately, and how to really, start to exercise in a way that would be good for me and for my bones and for my overall health. So no, I have not worked out my entire life. I didn't always work out. I started working out late, and that's part of what I try and encourage people to do now. It's like, it's never too late to start. It's never too early to start also, because I believe in that too, but it's never too late to start.
I love that. I love that so much. And I think it's really powerful because I know I've always wanted to be a person that just worked out as a part of my life. Like, I wanted to be just a person that worked out. So it felt in the beginning like you kind of either had it or you didn't. So, you know, like I remember even back in the day, like going to the gym and looking at people that I was just like, gosh, they just like know what they're doing. Like they're just like so serious. And this is obviously like a big deal. So it just felt like such an aspirational thing to be like that person. At first, that was the vision. But then I remember like I would feel so kind of bummed out because I'd go to the gym and I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to use. So I'd go use the same machine, like, cause that was like my little comfortable corner, you know, and then I was just kind of burn out eventually. Cause I'd be like, well, this is boring, or I'm not seeing any big transformation that I felt I would have. So I like that you relate and you share that you started late and that you didn't always have it, because I think that that's a big misconception, even with different things I've done. So like in the yoga world, which I love yoga, I teach yoga. It's like you have this thought process that it's these types of bodies or these types of people that do yoga. So it's wonderful to see that, no, actually, even when you practice yoga for a long time, no practice is the same. Like every day you might be a little bit more unbalanced or you might be stronger. So it's really cool that you share that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all part of it. Realizing that everybody, you can start no matter where you're at. That's number one, right? Where you're just like, you can start no matter where you're at. And number two is it is best to get someone that can help you.
Welcome to All's Well Lifestyle. Relax, re-energize, retreat, and remember your highest self wherever you are by joining our virtual retreat center free. Visit allswelllifestyle.com.
Get a guide, find someone that can help you. And that's what I try and fill in that little gap where a lot of people will go straight to a gym, look for personal trainers, and that's great. But there's a lot of personal trainers that don't know about working with people with disabilities, working in an adaptive sense, right? Of how to adapt exercises. They know progression and regression. Like I learned that as a certified personal trainer, I had to learn that stuff. But I realized quickly through my learning, I'm like, oh, but they're not talking about specifics when it comes to a disability or how someone's body moves because of a disability or limited mobility, stuff like that. So that's where I really wanted to fill the gap to, be the guide for people that are in that, where it's like, I want to get started, but I don't, I'm afraid kind of to go to the gym. The personal trainers don't know about how to deal with me with my disability. So that's where I come in and just let people know, hey, you can start right now and you can start moving. I'm going to show you how to get going. And, we're going to start the momentum.
Yes. And it's really powerful. And I love that you shared that about getting help, because that's like with my coaching, right? We can figure out life. Okay. We can figure out how to change our mindset. We can figure out how to maybe do some things in a business sense in a better way. But man, when you have help, then you're really getting so many things you need. Like you said, you're going to help people see how they can move in a way that is associated and good for their body. Mm-hmm. You're going to help people to maybe, get through the different mindset shifts that they're going to experience as they're along the journey. Help them with, these different things that when we're doing it alone, even though we can, it's just a lot harder and it's just a lot more, I say it's risky. I like to say it's risky because we can do things on our own, but the risk we take is that we'll end up giving up because it got too hard. Mm-hmm. And so we'll essentially just walk away from it altogether. Now, I'd like for you to please explain, because, there are people here that may be listening and, the thought of adaptive feels like it's for a particular sect of people or type of body. And I know that that's not the case. That's not the case, but let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just recently, I've been doing this now for just about 8 years, as far as like being a certified personal trainer and a coach, and really trying to learn how to coach for my community, right? And for the people that I'm here to help. And it was just recently that I realized that traditional fitness is broken. Like traditional fitness is broken. It just has been what it has been. And so many people have not been able to succeed through traditional fitness because it is broken, because quite literally being an adaptive fitness program is for everybody. Yeah. Everybody needs some sort of adaptation, regardless of who unless you're a pro athlete. I mean, they're adapting for progression, like stuff that, quote unquote, normal folks can't even do. But I think, personally, I think adaptive fitness is for everybody. And so, the whole idea that it's only for people that have disabilities or, someone that that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing, where it gets categorized, where it's like, you think adaptive fitness, you're thinking, folks in wheelchairs, you're thinking amputees, et cetera, et cetera. And that is legit, because we do claim that. We do claim adaptive. I claim it, I'm ambulatory, but I have limited mobility and fragile bones. So I have to, work out and exercise differently. I claim adaptive fitness. But I think that if we can get more and more people to realize adaptive fitness is for everybody, it's for you, then more people will start to do it and feel more comfortable coming into fitness and feeling like, oh, okay, yeah, I do need to adapt stuff for me. So adaptive fitness is for me. So let me go and do some adaptive fitness, And so, because everybody can do adaptive fitness.
That's right.
Right. So, and that's the whole point. It's inclusive. Everybody gets invited to the gym. Right. So it's like, that's where I think the distinction and the definition of adaptive fitness it needs to change a little bit. And then it needs to be more inclusive of like everybody, including a whole, sect of people that feel kind of in that in between. Cause that's where I felt a little bit, where I was like, well, I'm not disabled enough for adaptive fitness, right? But then it's like, well, but I'm too disabled to really go and work out with this trainer because like that, I can't do CrossFit, right? So it's like, I was stuck in the middle. So that's where I'm trying to help people, all those people that are stuck in that middle gap, to say, hey, let's go do this adaptive workout, but it's just a workout. It's just, we're just doing it in a chair. So it's a little different. It's just adapted. If you need to sit today, then you sit. If you can stand, then stand up and you can do the moves. If you can't move as much as me, that's totally fine. So there's little adjustments that need to be made. And I think changing that definition is good.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's adjusted fitness. It's
adjusted fitness.
Yo.
That's it. Yeah, hold on. I'm writing that down. Hold on. Adjusted fitness.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, so I know you've helped, folks that most would say are in the senior category, although, hey, you're only a senior when you say you are, but you've helped folks in senior category. I know this can help someone who's recovering from, various injuries, or maybe even just recovering, honestly, from a sedentary lifestyle. And I'll say something that when I really got into like my spiritual studies, I was for like 6 years, like going through this whole program and changing a lot of like my work. And so it just naturally went from being up and going throughout the day with natural movements and natural activities to then being just mostly sitting down, and also a lot of really like heady type of work instead of physical and manual type of work. And I needed to get back in. And when I got back into it, it was like, I really had to warm up, ramp up, I had to adjust things. I had to adjust the fitness path, and then again, it happened for me when I was really low on iron, and like my energy level was tanking, man. And like even losing breath, and like just my energy level would not carry me through even what maybe my first level 1 was. And so like I needed to adapt. So I just love that, I needed to adjust.
Yeah. Adjusted fitness. And I think what you said is important with saying that and normalizing the fact that a sedentary lifestyle is not the norm. Like you need to recover from a sedentary lifestyle. That's a great way to put that, because a lot of people think that, well, that's just what I do. I'm just at work all the time. Even folks that I've worked with that maybe use a wheelchair, they say, well, I'm just, sitting all the time, so there's nothing I can do, and blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm always like saying, well, no, there's always something you can do. There's always something you can do. There's always some move you can make. That lifestyle is not the norm. Right. Being sedentary is not the norm. Disability or not, whatever you've got going on, being sedentary isn't a norm. So you need to adjust and understand that no, movement is good in any way that you can get it. And that's the norm. So you do need to make that shift.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you started, because you didn't start, like you said, you didn't do this all the time. So what did you notice when you started exercising? Here you had this big life change and you went from like not exercising at all to starting. What were some of the things that you noticed as you started to make that change?
Well, gosh, the first thing I noticed was how tough it was. Mm-hmm. And that's part of it. And it's okay. It's really tough to make the shift. But then once you stay consistent, that was the next thing I realized. Once I stayed consistent, then you start to feel change and you start to see change, right? You start to feel it first, and then you start to see change. So I was like, yeah, this is really tough. It took a lot of not only physical strength, but mental strength to not only push through a lot of barriers that I had built up in my mind, as a lot of people with disabilities, especially, if you were born with your disability, like I was, there's a lot of barriers when it comes to movement. So it's like, you're not only battling physically, going and lifting heavy things in the gym, but you are also battling the heavy things that are weighing you down, right, in your mind. Sure. So it's like, you really have to, it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. But then I started to notice that I felt better. I was like, wait, I have more energy. I'm starting to have more energy. I can actually move in a way that I wasn't able to move before, right? You go, I'm able to, like, for me, the big thing was like walking up and down stairs and not having to use the handrail. So that was a big thing where I'm like, oh, wait, I can get up these stairs now and I don't have to like hold on to the handrail. And same thing as like you were talking about earlier about like losing breath and stuff, like, because I was overweight too. And like, so as I started to drop the pounds, then it was like, oh, I feel lighter. I'm able to step with more confidence, walking with more confidence, just making moves like going up and reaching for something and then carrying it and lifting it down, picking up a box, or, little moves around the house started to change. And that's the biggest thing that I started to learn. And that's what I coach and train as well. It's like, we always start with, well, what's something in your life that you want to do that you haven't done, right?
Yeah.
Physically. And for some people, it's like, man, I just want to like be able to stand up and clean the dishes in my house. And I'm like, okay, well, let's work on that then. Let's get your endurance up. Let's get your lower body strength up so you can stand longer. It's different for every client, but that's where we start, because we want to be able to do things in life normally and feel confident doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And not feel scared that something's going to happen or we're not capable of doing it. So yeah, that's what I noticed were the biggest changes, like right at the beginning. And then of course, again, as you stay consistent, I started noticing bigger and bigger changes as I was going. I'm like, oh man, I can really do big things. And then it gets to a point where you forget all the stuff you couldn't do. And then you're just the new person, right?
It's so true. It's so true what you're sharing, because it's like, I noticed those same things in me. So it was like, oh, wow. When I had started my spiritual studies, I was coming off of a big, like, active time. And at that time, it was like, okay, boot camp on the weekend, P90X through Beachbody.
P90X.
P90X, OG, Tony Horton. We are doing all the things. We're doing pull-ups. We're doing all these like things, we're lifting weights. It was programs and workouts for fun and bike rides and like all these things that were keeping me active and making me feel so strong and so confident. And then life just changed a little bit. Then I started, because of the studies and because of work and stuff, my focus just, I went to this goal I was after and this thing that I was so passionate about, and I was all in. And the next thing I know, like I wasn't working out, and I had held on to this thought of like, I'm a champion because that's how I felt when I was experiencing all those things physically and doing them regularly. And then it just hit me one day, like literally hit me one day where I was like, I'm a champion. And I just actually took the moment to recall when I did those things, and it had been years. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to be a person that's like living in my glory days, so to speak, but I actually am not that person anymore. And it was a big wake up call. And for me, coming back in, it was humbling, because I was like, wow, like, I got to work back up to be able to do these push-ups in a row. I can't do a pull-up anymore. I can't, these things. And the reason why I share that is because it's like, again, this is normal life. This is everybody. And now I'm entering into a season where it's like, as a woman, if you don't use it, honey, you gonna lose it. Like,
that's for everybody. That's for everybody.
But I think it's
woman or man.
But the reason why I think it's really for women is because we do enter a season in our life where perimenopause, menopause, these different things where hormonally also we have things happening where you will lose muscle, you will lose things if you do not keep going, if you don't stay going. And so, if someone's listening and they're feeling like, well, I don't have a disability. Well, but maybe are you sedentary and you just like right now a big workout feels like too much? Or, are you physically in a shape where, having an adjusted set of movements could really help you out to feel like more open, more limited, more able to breathe when you move? Are you recovering from something? There's exercise we all can do. And I think it's really, really cool to highlight those things so that we can look at it more like, where in my life might I entertain the idea of moving in a way? It doesn't have to look like my high school football days. It doesn't have to look like my early 20s challenge mission or my marathon days or whatever. It's what I need now. And like what you said, those benefits that you start to get. That's another thing that I think is crazy, because at first it does feel wild. It feels like extraordinary. You're like, this is hard.
Oh yeah.
And then you change a corner, you turn a corner, and then you're like, wow, I actually like this. I'm actually feeling good from this. It's so strange. Just like, and you tell me this, you tell me if you feel this too. When you work out, right? The first thing when you first start, you're like, I want to rest. I need rest. Right? But then as you start working out, tell me if you feel this too. It's almost like if you rest, I'm not saying rest is bad, but meaning like if you take too many days of rest, it's actually worse for your body. You're like more sore.
Yeah. And that's what everybody has to, you have to get over that tipping point. Because everybody should. I mean, that's when you realize that you're over that tipping point of, well, now I'm exercising more than I'm not exercising, and you have to push yourself to get there. And the only thing that gets you there is consistency.
Yeah.
So I'll say that word a million times right now, because consistency is the only thing that wins, right? And then also to that point, the workouts don't get easier; you get stronger. I'm sure people have heard that before, and I'm realizing that, where it's like, oh yeah, it's not easier. Like I'm just getting stronger, because the workout's the same, right? So nothing gets easier. Your workouts they should always be challenging.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point. You don't ever want to go through a workout and be like, well, that was easy, because then you're not challenging your body. You're not progressing, right? So you have to just think of it that way, where it's like, well, the workout's not going to get easier. I'm just going to get stronger, and it's going to start to feel easier for me. But you don't want a workout to be easy. You want it to be challenging for you. And so, of course, when you're just first starting out, like a lot of folks that I work with are just starting out, they're coming into fitness for the first time. They're coming back to fitness. Their bodies are way different. Like you were talking about, they're way different than they were before. We're going to start with an adjusted and adapted workout that's going to be, it's going to seem easier, right? Because, and your body may move in a different way too. That's the whole point. We got to adjust it so that your body can still work that muscle that we're trying to work out with this move. And so it's going to feel maybe easy, but trust me, it's not going to be like that easy. It's still going to be challenging. You're still going to do the work. You're still going to feel something when you're done. But yeah, you definitely get stronger. The workout doesn't get easier.
So what would you say to someone who emotionally right now, they feel like they can't work out?
Well, I'd first say that you gotta not say that to yourself. Because emotionally and psychologically, all of those things come into play. So what are the emotions that you're feeling? If you're emotional about it, what are the emotions you're feeling? You're feeling fear. That's usually the number one thing, right? You're feeling fear because you don't think that you can do it. So you have to identify that first, and you got to just say, yeah, I'm just scared. I'm just scared to do this, and it's okay. It's okay to be scared to do hard things, right? But we can all do hard things. You heard that one before too. So you have to identify the emotion, and you got to say, okay, I'm just scared. Because even that, like people will say, oh, it's because I don't have time. It's because I'm tired all the time. It's because, and that's legitimate. If you do have fatigue, we need to talk about that, because that could be because you're not moving, right? You got to get moving. And the food you eat. Nutrition is another whole piece of it too. Beyond the movement, you have to eat right at the same time. Otherwise, all the movement in the world's not going to help you. But so the emotions, those are feelings, right? That's not emotions. When you really get down to the nitty gritty, the only emotion that's going to stop you from exercising is fear.
Yeah.
That's it. Because you're scared of something. You're scared of hurting yourself. You're scared that you don't know what you're going to be doing. You're scared you'll be embarrassed. Like it's all fear of an emotion. Of a feeling that you may get. And so it's just identifying that and being like, you know what? How do I get over this fear? And really, it's different for everybody. Some people just dive right in. Some people sit and analyze, right? Both ways are fine as long as the end result is you get moving.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I don't care how you do it, like whatever you need to do. We need to talk for a half hour, then we're going to talk, but we're going to do a workout after this. Or, hey, you don't want to talk about it? We're just going to start lifting weights. Let's do it. Or we're just going to do some cardio. Let's go. So whichever way you need to get over that fear and get through that fear, because I don't think you'll get over it. I think you'll just have to deal with it, right? And so that's the main thing that I think of when I think of like emotional ties that are keeping us from movement. I think it's fear. And so you really got to work through that.
You're so right. It's so funny. So when I told you I did the P90X program, when I bought, and I don't even care what y'all think, because I'm proud of what I got going on. I'm proud of my age. Gen X in the house.
Let's go.
Let's go. So when I bought the DVD of P90X, I kid you not, it stayed next to the television for a full year before I actually did it, because I was afraid. I was like, okay, I made it real. I had that moment of like, yeah. Then it came and I'm like, aye.
Yeah,
but ultimately,
everybody has that.
Yeah.
Everybody has that. It's like, well, some people do. Some people can just go right in, right, and they'll just start. I mean, it depends on your personality. But a lot of people, and the majority of my clients, I would say that I've worked with throughout the years, are the ones that are afraid. And so the majority of folks feel that way, and it's okay if you do. You can have that fear. You're going to have I call it the gap, right? It's a gap between the moment you think in your brain, man, I really got to do something. I really got to get moving, to the time that you actually do start moving. There's a gap for everybody. So it's like, what do you need to deal with in that gap? You could read about it in my book, Disable Your Disability, Live the Healthy Life You Deserve. Plug from the book.
That's right.
So, I talk about the gap in there. I had a big gap, and it was like, because of everything that I had going on, especially with my disability, there was a huge gap between the time that was like, I had my health scare, and then the time that I actually stepped foot into the gym. It was like probably 8 months, 6 to 8 months. That's a long time to be kind of waiting, right?
Yeah.
But there was a lot that I had to deal with, and a lot that I had to do psychologically, mentally, and not physically, to even get me up to that speed, right? To where I felt comfortable going in, and not even comfortable. I had to
Just
do it
ready.
uncomfortable, right? Just ready to go and just release all control and be like, all right, just tell me what to do. Because I went and hired a personal trainer. Yeah. So, it's important that we tackle that fear right away and just start to deal with it. So no pressure as far as the timing, but just don't let it last too long. Don't let it last too long, and get help. You come visit me, reach out to T. She helps people with this as well. Like, just getting over and through fear is a big deal, especially when it comes to fitness, especially when it comes to movement, disability or not, like anything. People still have fear. You heard T just said it. She, she's got everything going on, and like, she still had a lot of fear.
Oh yeah.
So, everybody deals with it.
Everybody deals with it. And so, yes, definitely we've already provided so many wonderful things regarding exercises we all can do. But I definitely do not want this to wrap without us giving some actual quickie tips for the following situations.
Okay.
So what is one way everyone can exercise laying down?
Laying down, you can do the number one thing, what's called a dead bug. So I can't demonstrate it right now, but it's basically you put and depending on your ability, I don't know where you're at, but you lay on your back, you put your arms straight up like you're reaching up to the sky, and then you lift your knees up into a 90-degree angle, so your knees are facing up towards the sky. And then what you do is you're going to take your left leg and you're going to reach it out and straighten it, and you're going to take your right arm and you're going to go opposite, right? Ooh. You're going to go opposite, left leg, right arm. You're going to reach it. You reach your arm up, and your left leg is going to go down. Then you bring those back up. Then you alternate and you go to the other side, and you go right leg down, left leg, left arm down. I'm trying so hard to describe it, but this for someone that may need just the audible description of how to do it.
Yeah.
But that's called a dead bug. And then you just alternate, and you're alternating. So you're laying on your back, and guess what? You're getting movement, and you're working your core, you're working some of your shoulders, your hips. You're getting everything in a dead bug.
Fantastic. All right. What's one way that anybody can move while sitting down?
Oh, sitting, that's one of my favorites. You can do all sorts of moves sitting. If you're just starting out, just start with, do you want to do cardio move or like a strength move?
Do
They're different.
cardio.
So cardio move, you can do a seated jack. So like a jumping jack, but you're not jumping. You're moving your arms, first of all, arms out to the side, slight bend in the elbows, and you're going, bringing them up above your head and bringing them down to your side. So you're doing what's like a jumping jack motion with your arms. And then with your legs, if you're able to incorporate it, when you bring your arms up, you bring one of your legs out to the side and tap your foot, and then bring that back. And then you alternate and you bring out the opposite leg, and you go boom, boom, and you're just alternating between those two. Seated jack.
Oh,
And if not seated jack, then run in place. Run in place, get your arms moving like you're running, and then you can incorporate your knee lift if you can. Then you incorporate knees up, and you just do that in your chair.
That's excellent. Now, I know that you are really good with mind-muscle connection, so I'm pretty sure you're going to advise this for the next one. But what is one way that someone with very little mobility in their body, what is one way that they can exercise, that they can get something going on?
Well, always the first thing that I say, and this goes for everybody, definitely, if you have an opportunity to access physical therapy, say you're coming off an injury, say you are very limited, say you have paralysis or something like that, you had a stroke maybe or something or of that nature. If you can access physical therapy, then definitely do that, because they're going to give you some simple exercises to start to retrain your brain on how to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're done with physical therapy, because it always comes to an end, you only have so many visits.
Sure.
When it comes to an end, that what you can do is really start to think about the mind to muscle connection, just like T was talking about, and it's isometric holds. So an isometric hold is when you contract a muscle and you hold it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you hold it for 5-10 seconds, and then you let it go. So that's an isometric hold. So what you want to do is start to do that with different parts of your body. So if you can, and whatever you are able to control, whatever you're able to control.
Yeah.
So even if you can't do a bicep curl, full bicep curl, just think about, okay, I need to tighten my bicep right now. I need to tighten my bicep. You're going to train your mind to get into that bicep and really think about, okay, let me just tighten that bicep. And then you can contract your bicep without having to do this sort of movement. You can actually contract your bicep and give it a little isometric hold without even having to do the move.
Ooh.
So, do that. And then also like bracing and pulling in, where you like brace your core, right? You just tighten everything like in your core, your entire torso, and you just like suck it all in and you just tighten it up, right? And then you let it go. So like these isometric holds are important for someone that just can't get moving at all. Like think about it, isometric holds, and really making that mind to muscle connection. Because then when you do start moving, then it's going to help you to train that muscle better.
That is so awesome. So awesome, Tony. What is your best? See what I did there? What is your best tip for someone to mentally prepare themselves to begin to exercise?
Well, I think we touched on it with the fear thing, because mentally, everyone's going to approach it differently. But the bottom line is you just have to do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Like straight up, you gotta start right now. You gotta start right now. There is nowhere to get to before you can start moving. Trust me. A lot of people have said that. They're like, well, I gotta lose weight before I start to exercise. I'm like, what do you mean? That you're gonna exercise so you can lose weight, right? And so a lot of people will have that kind of barrier. Again, it's all just fear. So mentally, you really just have to say, you know what, I just have to do this, and understand that, you're going to be helping yourself. You're going to be helping everybody around you. You're going to be helping society. You're helping so much more than just yourself once you start to move and get healthier.
I love that so much. I love that so much. You've already given us so many wonderful things, ways that we can all do exercises, how we can think about this, how we can get started no matter what state we're in. Tony, let us know all the ways that we can continue to stay in touch with you and get more.
All right. Well, the easiest way is just come to my website. It's my name, TonyJacobsen.com, and it's TonyJacobsen.com, TonyJacobsen.com. And so when you come to my website, you're going to find out everything that we've got going on with the Unbreakable Way and all of my coaching programs. You can get my books. You can read the blog posts. You can find out about all of the coaching. You can hire me to speak. You can do all the stuff at my website. Just come to my website, TonyJacobsen.com. And if you want to get me on socials, I am Tony Jacobsen. So yeah, but come to the website, get on the email list. It's going to be your best place to to find me and get in contact with me. If you want to reach out, go to the website.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Your Best Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and even give us a review. And hey, don't forget, there are plenty of resources in the show notes for you. See you in the next episode.